and we're going to be playing a different game today. Today we're going to be, tonight. Oh no. Stop it. No. All right. So tonight we're going to be playing Chaos Child, as you can tell from the music that you played before, or if you haven't heard of it, we're going to try it now. I've never played it. I don't know what it's about, and that's the way I like it. We like different. We like different stuff all the time. And without further ado, let me go ahead and plug this in here before we start. Today is a day where we subscribe and follow to your dear Dro. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to me. I both have a twitch.tv /GEN _ Dro account, and I also have a YouTube account. All links are provided on the corresponding pages, and you can always find me on both. Twitch if you want to see me live, and YouTube if you want to see some previous streams, including the ones that I've done that day or the day after. Whichever. Anyways, that's it for me, so we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. But before we do, let me go ahead and edit this real quick. Whoa! Oh, let's see. I guess we're just going to have to do the entire screen. I don't know what's been going on with this thing lately. All right, let's go ahead and turn this on. This music, man. All right, stop the music. For the love of God. Okay. Here we go. We're going to do a new game over here. And then, so I can see this chats on here. I'm going to go ahead and go on my Twitch account on my phone like I did last time, so we don't miss any of the texts, because I keep on forgetting to put my damn laptop here. Always the same old, I suppose. Let's go to this. There we go. Heck yeah. All right, now I can watch all your messages that you send me. Yay. No, stop. Don't do that. I'll fight you, sir. Like you want to be difficult today, huh? All right, I can watch it from over here. All right, November 6th, 2009 AD, 10:28 p.m. It came without warning. Please do not play music. I'm tired of getting copyrighted on YouTube. Oh no! Oh no! Why is this playing? No, don't do that. Who told you to have the volume on? It was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake with an epicenter directly under the city. This disaster reduced one of Tokyo's busiest downtown areas to nothing in a single night. The high-rise buildings that had birthed so many trends and fads collapsed, as if giving up on their role in society. Black fire spread throughout the city as individuals fell into the grip of the crowd psychology. Their terror was magnified. Combined, all of these things took many lives. The final death toll was 3,851. The final number of injured, 30,927. This event would later be known as the Shibuya earthquake. Even in all that destruction, people still suffered the most in their hearts. Some who had lost their families came together to share new resolve, while others who had been forced to watch their friends die were driven by guilt to take their own lives. As a baby was miraculously reunited with its parents after 72 hours, a child in an evacuation shelter asked her dad, When's Mommy coming home? He had no answer. Some of the wounded made it to the hospitals by looking at real time updates on the web. Others saw people on the internet talking about the disaster as if it were a movie and were driven mad. Driven mad, I say! A homeless man was saved from malnutrition by an organized volunteer group. But at the same time, a middle school boy punched a self centered volunteer who'd come to Shibuya to find himself in the face. It was the first time in that boy's life he'd ever been so violent. The psychological toll was incredible, and many of the survivors would later manifest symptoms similar to those associated with PTSD. The young were hit the hardest, and before long, the cause of those symptoms was given a name: Chaos Child Syndrome. Rebuilding happened at a feverish pitch never seen before. It felt inappropriate to say, hang in there, but people felt that somebody had to do something. The new slogan was Shibuya, a city reborn, and no amount of money or manpower was spared in aiding the endeavor. The whole town was in the grip of a fever. In private, a leader of redevelopment efforts said, "This may sound unkind, but this frenzy feels like a town burying its grief by holding a festival." Building codes were rigorously evaluated with an eye towards earthquake engineering, perhaps in an effort to emphasize the city's safety. Security cameras were put all over town. Shibuya would become a place where everyone could live in peace. But at the same time, a rumor began to spread about the earthquake. Something about this earthquake doesn't make sense. There were no aftershocks, and the damage had spread in a strange way. Harajuku, and Ibusu, areas only a kilometer away from Shibuya, suffered few casualties and even fewer collapsed buildings. This damage pattern had never been observed in any prior earthquake, and so more than a few pundits claimed the Shibuya earthquake must have been artificial. More than anything, some of the survivors all said the same thing. I saw a white light. I heard a sound like ringing in my ears. Too many people experienced this for anyone to laugh it off, but no cause of those phenomena was ever found. It was just more evidence to those who believed that something about the earthquake had been wrong. Then, 6 years after the strange earthquake in 2015, something else was about to attract the attention in the reborn city of Shibuya. Chaos Child. If you're a god and delusion becomes one about the noise you get. Is this the sensual world, despotic city? I can't even read it up. Yeah! September 7th, 2015. Sunday night. Okay, I'm going to take 3 minutes for questions. Get to it. The second he spoke, the comment box started to fill. Yuma Otani watched it for a few seconds and then saw the request. When did Haru tell us she's dating somebody? He smiled to himself. Just what he wanted. Most of the requests were about hot actors or cute idols. His audience was so stupid that it was easy to tell exactly what they were going to ask. The problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew or was someone he knew. That was a question of luck and of how popular they were. But Haru, her full name was Haruko something or other. She was fine. Just a few days ago, he'd forced himself to go to an event he'd rather have skipped and seen it for himself. Yes. Okay. Satisfied, Otani got up to get some snacks, like he always did. He lived in a one-bedroom condo located 8 minutes away from Shibuya Station. Cost 150,000 yen per month. God damn, that's a lot. That's $1,500 a month. Ugh. It had been built after the earthquake, so the furnishings and layout were modern. A little more room would have been nice, but compared to the 40,000 yen per month place he'd lived in last year, it was heaven. God. Next year, maybe I'll move somewhere more convenient. At 21 years old, Otani felt satisfied for the first time in his life. In fourth grade, he'd gotten big into online gaming and stopped going to school. Eventually, he stopped leaving his room altogether. Then he'd gotten addicted to drugs that made him sleepy, but did nothing else. Once, seeing only darkness in his future, he planned to commit suicide. In the chaos after the earthquake 6 years ago, he finally managed to leave his room, but his family had already given up on him. After he failed his entrance exam, he went to live on his own in Shibuya, and he hadn't spoken to his parents since. As far as they knew, he'd failed the exams 3 times in a row. In fact, he hadn't even gone to the test after the first time. There wasn't anything he wanted to learn in college, or any companies he wanted to work for badly enough. He had no goal in life at all. But things were different now. Maybe At-chan does tell the truth sometimes. Guess I'll have some cheese. He took a block of cheap cheese he'd bought at the supermarket out of the fridge. Usually he'd never ate anything this cheap. But on Niconia live streaming, it wasn't just what you said. How you looked when you said it also mattered. Otani wasn't a good looking man, let alone a cute girl. He was just a plain old guy, like me. And so to keep his program popular, he needed to make them think he was poor. Barely managing to scrape by, in fact. I don't pretend I'm poor. I am poor. That's why he kept the area around his PC and the parts of his apartment that you could see with his webcam completely playing. Last month, he finally reached his goal of 4,000 viewers. Man, that would be awesome. For a man with nothing going for him like Otani, this was extremely unusual. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of a popularity contest a certain idol group was holding, as well as their total number of votes. That must have really paid off. After that, his numbers have been going up steadily. Late last month, when his streams had appeared at the top of Niconia's page, he'd seen a huge increase. Right now, he'd gotten above 4,500, and it was quite possible he'd break 5,000 by the end of the month. It was around late last year when he started to wonder about his power. There was a certain rumor on one of At-chan's cult boards that made him really start to realize what he had. The name he'd chosen for his stream subtly reflected this. Then I learned that I can see the future. He took out a knife to cut the cheese. There was a strange sound. Huh? He thought he'd just imagine it when. Knock, 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 knock. He heard it again. It was coming from the door. Someone was clearly knocking on his door. Huh? Jungle, maybe? Suspicious, he walked towards the door to answer, then checked the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. Not exactly normal delivery hours. Oh, come on, I'm streaming right now. He tried to ignore it. But... Oh, I hate getting interrupted on my streams too. I understand completely. The knocking continued. It was the same rhythm, at the same pace. As if the visitor's goal wasn't to come inside, but simply to make that sound. Utani felt a bit creeped out. He decided to go to the intercom camera to see who it was, but then realized that would be pointless. Only the auto-locking door on the first floor had a camera. The door to Otani's room on the 5th floor had an intercom, but no camera. Otani gave up. Damn it. If you want something, push the intercom button. Knock. Knock, knock, knock. Maybe it's a drunk. No, the knocks were too steady for that, and there was no voice yelling at him to open up. He'd seen this door a million times, but suddenly it looked somehow different. Someone he didn't know was on the other side of the wall, demanding entry in the middle of the night. Somehow this made the door seem intimidating. Tony thought he might look through the peephole to see who was outside. He was then disgusted to find himself too scared to even get close to the door. Wait, the intercom didn't have a camera, but it did have a microphone. He turned towards the living room so he could use the intercom and find out what they wanted. "Oh, Tommy, it's me. Sorry to come by so suddenly." He stopped when he heard that voice. "It's me. I'm very sorry to bother you at this hour." Otani tried to remember who the speaker was, but found he couldn't. But from the tone of the voice and the words, they probably weren't a weirdo. When they said "I'm sorry," it sounded like they really meant it. Otani sighed softly with relief, and then realized he was still carrying the knife he had been using to cut cheese. It suddenly felt stupid to feel so nervous. He quickly laid the knife on the top of the sink. Right, I'll open it now. Who is it?" "It's me, don't you remember?" The voice simply repeated itself. "But who are you?" Otani whispered to himself as he opened the door. Otani narrowed his eyebrows at the people standing there. He looked them up and down and then looked at their faces again. Their eyes met. "Who are you guys?" Otani suddenly felt a piercing headache. Otani closed his eyes and put his right hand up to his temple. He could feel the blood pounding in his veins through his fingers. He staggered and quickly put his other hand against the wall to keep from falling over. The pain was like the old days, when he overdosed on antidepressants, but much more intense. He grit his teeth again, the pain, and dug against the pain. I guess they forgot to put against. He grit his teeth against the pain, and dug his nails into the wall that was holding him up. As he waited for the pain in his fingers to help dull the pain in his mind, "Mr. Otani, are you okay?" He heard a voice he heard many times before, and felt a concerned hand on his shoulder. He somehow managed to ignore the pain and open his eyes. A worried face was peering down at him. "Yeah, I'm fine. This just happens sometimes lately." "Overwork, perhaps? You've been so busy lately. You shouldn't push yourself too hard." "You're always such a worry. I'm fine. Come in." He opened his mouth as wide as he could and moaned, trying to ease the pain as he let his important guest inside. As he turned his back on his guests, he told himself that it had been a long time since he'd seen them. Or maybe not. It couldn't have been more than 2 months since they'd last met. It only felt long because he wanted to see them so badly. "Oh, right. It was nice of you to come by, but I'm streaming." While he was out here, he decided he would cut some cheese for himself and his guests. "Oh, don't worry about us." "No, I can't do that to you guys." "Hmm? What's wrong?" "No, it's just nothing." The blade wasn't cutting into the cheese. "That's strange," he told himself as he pushed down with more force. He cut into its surface and it made an unpleasant sound he'd never heard before. But no matter how hard he pushed it, it wouldn't go any further. "Huh?" Confused, he yanked the knife back and forth like a saw, but it only cut slightly deeper. It was as if there was something hard inside the cheese. And even though he had just taken it out of the fridge, it was slightly warm. "Damn it, what's going on with this thing?" Irritated, he slammed the handle of the knife against the cheese. But all it did was bash it in a little. He couldn't cut through it. "God damn it!" "I'll help you." His guests must have heard the sound because they rushed over. They had another knife. When did they get that out? There's a trick to cutting this thing. They put the knife up against the cheese and began to move it with a practiced hand. It sounds like your work is going well. They smiled at Otani, their voices slightly low. Otani realized that they were trying to keep their voices from being picked up by streaming microphone and lowered his voice as well. Yeah. He grinned and nodded. His guests had introduced him to a firm that handled advertising space for popular websites, which had been giving him regular work. His reputation had quietly spread throughout the small web advertising industry, and soon he was getting more and more offers. This job's all about predicting trends, so it's perfect for me. I can't lose. Then why do these streams? It's hard to say, I guess. You could say I'm trying to see how far I can go. That's right. His power wasn't meant to be wasted on jobs that anyone could do. No one's done this before, so I can't ask anybody about it, you know? So I want to do everything I can by myself. Or am I sounding like a show-off? No, it's wonderful, I think. And done. After he smacked it a few times, the cheese was a little funny looking, but even slices were lined up neatly on the plate. Sorry to make you help like that. It's nothing. Go on. I'll wait until your stream is finished. Thanks. If you want something from the fridge, grab it. Oh, but be quiet. Otani took his cheese back to his seat and saw a flood of comments reading, "He's late, and did he log off?" But it should only have been 3 minutes had turned into more than 15. Otani put a bite of cheese in his mouth and began to chew loudly. So sorry, I bought this cheese on sale and it's just so incredibly hard. He apologized to the camera, remembering to keep up the act of being poor and starving. And as he had hoped, the comments started coming in. You always like this, right? Reported the broadcast will end soon. I heard you have new hobbies. You trained in Hollywood. This is making me sick. What happened? I'm very worried. Yeah. Stop it. It's disgusting. Huh? Sonny's face took on a confused expression. The comments were strange. He thought there might be something on the camera, but he turned around and only saw his fake poor room. Is something wrong? He spoke into the camera, but the comments still didn't make any sense, and they were coming in faster. Maybe there was a problem with the camera. He reached his right hand out towards it. In an instant, his headache was back. Ugh! It was the same pain as before. No, worse. He closed his eyes and jerked forward, banging his head against the desk. But the pain in his head was so bad he didn't even feel it. He tried to hold his head in his hands, but for some reason his right hand wouldn't move. So instead he pushed his other hand up against his temple. It felt squishy. The vein was incredibly swollen and it felt like rubber. And each time he felt his blood pulse through it, there was an unpleasant sensation in his fingers. He stamped his feet against the floor, hoping to find some small escape from the pain. But didn't even get slightly better. It was there that he realized he was crying. He could feel tears coming from his eyes. The pain was moving there now, too. Unable to bear it, he opened his eyes. Whoa, I can't even read that shit. He gasped. The whole scene appeared in front of him like some kind of awful magic trick. What's going on? He suddenly heard the sound of something wet dripping on the floor. His eyes reflectively turned again, towards it. His right arm was gone at the elbow, and the stump was gushing blood. There was a pool of it on the floor, and the sound he heard was the new blood splattering into it. Huh? Otani didn't understand what had happened to him. What was going on? He'd just gone to check on a knock at the door. Ugh! The pain screamed within him. Any sense of pain in what remained of his right arm was overcome by the pain in his head. He felt nothing from his arm at all, though he saw the blood dripping to the floor. What the hell was going on? He blinked and forced his aching eyes to function as he looked around the room. On top of his desk, he found the rest of his arm. It was sitting on a plate. At first it looked like it was still in one piece, but it wasn't. It was neatly sliced into uniform pieces. Each piece was about a centimeter wide, and the slices moved up neatly towards his fingers. They sat upon the plate in roughly his arm's original shape. Miraculously, he saw there was no blood on the tip of his index finger. He still didn't understand what it was that it was really his own arm. But sheer disgust at what he saw caused him to leap out of his chair. What was this? What kind of prank was this? The contents of his stomach flooded into his mouth. He vomited. The pink fluid splashed against the desk. He saw something solid in the middle of it. It was a thumb. It was covered in bite marks, saliva, and stomach acid, but horribly he remembered it. What? When had he put that in his mouth? In his pain-filled mind, he suddenly heard a sound he'd never heard before. Each time he heard the sound, the pain in his head got worse. He turned towards the camera, hoping for an answer to what was happening. But of course there was none to be found. The screen was still filling with comments, but his eyes were too filled with tears for him to read them. As the whole world turned red, Utani didn't even realize that his lips were turning purple. His lips had turned purple from lack of oxygen, but were stained red with blood from his severed thumb, which he had chewed himself. As he tried to fight the pain, he began to fall unconscious and tears fell from his eyes. The tears turned pink to him. Utami was reaping blood. He died, still facing the camera. His guests watched the chain of events unfold, then silently headed for the door. Just before they left the room. Goodbye, they said, as if nothing at all was wrong, and shut the door. Extra saucy, I'm bored. Back to the usual stream. Ooh, that's fucked. September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Whew. Momono Takayanagi had finished her concert, like always. She stayed behind to help put away the instruments. She even helped clean up the audience seats, even though that was a concert hall's job. Only after all of that was done could she take a break. There wasn't much time left before her solo street concert, but she still had to help anyway. She'd always been like that. Even if it wasn't her responsibility, she couldn't help but get involved. It was like in middle school, when one of her friends who wasn't as good at studying asked her for test notes. Or in high school, when a girl she knew asked her how to make Valentine's chocolate for a boy she really liked. She stayed up so many nights her own test grades were worse than her friends. And she didn't have and she didn't even have anyone to give chocolates to on Valentine's Day. In the end, it was other person's responsibility, not hers, but... Basically, I'm just a huge wuss. Momone Takayanagi was, at heart, scared of not doing everything she could, even if everything wasn't her responsibility. The concert today was another big success. Sure, it was a tiny room that could only fit 150 people or so, standing room only, but tickets were 3,000 yen, high for a band with an amateur vocalist like her, and they still sold out instantly. It was bizarre how excited the crowd was. She'd heard sobs during the ballad, and during one of the high-tempo songs, the audience had stood up all the way to the back row. This is impossible. She felt a chill and hugged herself tightly. It's not that her band wasn't popular. They'd started out in the Sangit category and had kept going by doing covers of popular anime songs. It helped that her face, which had earned her the nickname Scarecrow in school, could look really good when she wore makeup. And if all of them would put on ridiculous costumes and acted like idiots, some people would enjoy that. Videos of their concert and performances pulled a decent number of views online. But Takayanagi noticed. The vast majority of people looking at the videos were people who'd come to her concerts. People who experienced that insane intensity were going back to the videos to try and feel it again. And Takayanagi knew that they probably wouldn't even feel 1% of it. It's just impossible. The ticket prices and audience sizes were one thing, but the strangest thing to her was their eyes. Their eyes pierced right through her, unblinking. They were like pets, totally dependent on their master. The meaning of the lyrics began to take over their lives, and they never even questioned it. There has to be something wrong with my voice. When she first realized that this was happening, she tried to quit the band. Even if she couldn't, she at least wanted to stop doing the live shows, where people heard her directly. But the others around her wouldn't let that happen. Your voice is amazing, they would tell her. They forced her to keep singing, even as the concerts began to terrify her. Takayanagi tried to get out of it, but in the end, kept giving in. She owed her fellow band members for getting a plain, dull girl like her into music. And for a while, part of her managed to have fun. But in the end, Takayanagi lacked the tiny bit of courage needed to break out of the cycle. She forced herself to get up and head towards the street concert, which she really didn't want to do. She'd receive an email. She read it slowly. No way. She almost dropped her smartphone. She read it again and again, trying to control her shaking hands. It was nothing special, just a simple message about one of the songs she'd made. Good song. Keep it up. No way! Takayanagi tried to stop the tears, but couldn't. The band would get too many messages like this to count, especially after concerts. She knew it was rude, but to be honest, she was sick of them. But this email address wasn't for her band. It was one for a site where she had anonymously uploaded original songs. In other words, whoever sent this message hadn't come to her concerts. They'd never heard her voice live or felt its strange power. But they had still said they liked her song. Really? Wiping away tears that wouldn't stop, she quickly wrote a response. That makes me really happy. Thank you. Even after she sent it, she kept crying for a while. She hadn't cried this much since the earthquake. And then she stood up. Stupid things! She took her costumes for the day's concert out of her bag, balled them up, and threw them in the trash. It was a white caped outfit worn by some angel character in some anime. Certain fans really loved it. Ooh, sorry. But she didn't care about it at all. She took a wet towel off a nearby table and violently wiped away her makeup. I think I'm okay with being a scared crow. She was never wearing another cape or putting on makeup to look like an anime character again. Never, she said out loud. She realized she was more excited than she'd ever been before. And then she started to realize what she wanted to do. I guess I could just leave Shibuya. I'm sure things are going to get messy here. What would happen if she said she was going to quit the band? It'd cause trouble for a lot of people, definitely. Her band was scheduled to play in the Restoration Festival. But even so, she never wanted to sing at another concert. I shouldn't use the street where I've done shows, or my fans will see me. Wait, I'll be fine with this face. She laughed and kissed her smartphone. Oh wow, this is so much fun. She couldn't wait to get home and start fiddling with her music. Over the web, she could really share her music with others. As long as they weren't hearing her voice live, it would be fine. If she just play a recording from a speaker, for example, I've got a small speaker in my house, don't I? That's right. She'd leave Shibuya, and when she had a few more songs, she could record them and play them at a street concert. That speaker was small enough that she could fit it under her clothes to fool people. It would be rude to do the same song every time, so each time she'd re record it at home. Oh shit. Here we go. There was a knock at the door. One of the staffers, maybe? Oh, geez, I'm coming! She smiled and answered them. Now she'd thrown her clothes. Her bag was lighter than she'd ever imagined it could be. That lightness made her think about the future. She was happy. Oh, fuck that. Knock, 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 knock. Murder. Coming! Takayanagi happily danced toward the door, completely ignorant of what was on the other side. September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Shortly after she finished, she was walking through Shibuya. She had a limp and dragged one leg behind her, as if it was injured. Her bangs were unnaturally long. Most of her face was covered by them. She wore a dark-colored dress that seemed to melt into the night, and above it, a bright red cardigan. Her chest, arms, and legs were almost completely covered. Despite the fact that the night was still warm, she wore gloves, as if it were a sin to show any skin at all. Oh, sorry. She ran into a couple coming out of a hotel and staggered slightly. But she didn't even look at the people she ran into. She looked down and disappeared into the streets of Shibuya. What was that? Man, talk about creepy. Hey, did you see her face? Huh? Why? It was so weird. What was that? Those eyes were so weird. Digital native. Are we going to finally meet people, or we're going to still go through backstory? Feels like I've been reading a while, huh? For example, let's say you asked a kid in middle school, do you know what Schrodinger's cat is? Most would say yes, or I've heard of it. We'll start by eliminating the DQNs who say they've never heard of it. Next, and ask, well, what was it? Next, we eliminate those poor fools who say, it's something about a cat in a box, right? Or there's this cat, but you don't know if it's alive or dead, right? Or maybe they say, there's a cat in a box, and next to it there's a device that may or may not give off poison gas. You don't know if the cats are alive or dead till you open the box. Everybody knows that. We can eliminate these show-offs as well. Everybody from these groups is a wrong-sider. The right answer would be to describe the experiment and then say, it was a thought experiment proposed by Schrodinger to criticize the quantum mechanical theory that state collapses only occur after human observation. But barely anyone can do that. And I'd imagine I'm the only guy who's still in high school who knows that Schrodinger got the idea after exchanging letters with Einstein. And I just learned something new too. I hate wrong-siders. I had taken a break from investigating the two incidents that occurred recently in Shibuya and was paging through some at-channel blog aggregators for a change of pace. As always, articles about bad idols and corporations with terrible work environments were getting tons of hits. It was hard to believe the crash of 15, a huge news story that had just happened this month, was already off the front pages. Did the people reading and commenting on these sites realize that everything they read about corporations and idols was carefully controlled? Did they know that most of the big aggregator sites are corporations too? Did they realize that the comments were all manipulated to go one direction or another? Kids our age were living in a world where all the information you could ever want was right at your fingertips. To those of us in the enlightened generation, ignorance was the worst sin. The ignorant were self-righteous, easily manipulated, and eager to push their paper-thin worldview onto others. They were nothing but a nuisance. The worst of the lot were the so-called otaku. I couldn't stand otaku. They were wrong-siders. Take the picture on this cover of this magazine. It was from Blood Toon. Any otaku who just watched it for the cute characters was a loser. There was no point in watching the show if you were going to ignore its deeper themes. I couldn't stand people who still held to the old-fashioned idea that only otaku watch anime, but people who ignored a show's themes and just watched it for cuteness were even worse. They were ignoring the implicit social criticism hidden in. What? I stared at the magazine in amazement. Specifically, I stared at the box that listed the next episode's previews. The text said that Aaron was missing. Idiots! Damn it! I let my guard down because I knew this episode was written by the guy who wrote the original manga. The original author doesn't know anything about his own work! How could you remove Aaron from the story halfway through? Not keeping her around meant bringing all the internal drama that had been built up so far to a halt. God damn it! So much for my change of pace. I knew I had work to do on the case, but I'd put it away because I couldn't find any link between the two crimes. I thought for a moment, then took my magazine from its secret stash. It was an issue of an older magazine called Cool Cat Press. People called it a dating guide for normals written by someone who'd never dated a girl in his life, but you'd be surprised. Magic words to make any girl fall in love with you. Stupid. I knew it was stupid, but when I ran an internet search for their number one phrase, nothing came back. And that was the thing. The fact that it didn't show up on the internet meant to me that it was worth something. I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but I may fall in love with you. With who? What are you doing? I turned to yell at the voice. Huh? Oh no! Why did you get here? I hit my favorite magazine behind my back and tried to calm my racing heart. Even if we've known each other since we were kids, don't just come in like that. I did knock. So what's that magazine? Anything interesting? It's nothing. I couldn't let her find out. This was bad. What's going on? Why are you wearing your school uniform? Didn't you go home? Sarika frowned. You're the one who told me to investigate the crime scenes for our club today. Huh? That's right. Here you go. More pictures from the crime scenes. Sarika took a USB memory stick out of her purse. Oh, thanks. Could you transfer it to my computer for me while you're at it? Sarika looked a little confused. That's rare. You never let anyone touch your computer. Not really. You're allowed. She didn't seem to think much of it as she started to copy the data off. Okay, now's my chance. The RV was cramped, but there was a lot of space for storage. I pretended to make tea as I tried to find room on the top shelf. Okay, there's just enough room for one more magazine. And then, I heard a pew, pew sound like a small fart from behind me. I glanced back and saw that Sarika was using the mouse with one hand and fiddling with her Guerrero strap with the other. Oh, I do not like that. Guerrero. Alright. I hate that these funny ass fucking names. Come on, man. This is my chance. The Guro Froggy Gororo strap was a soft vinyl cell phone strap I won in a candy contest when I was a little kid. When you push its belly, it was supposed to go Gororo Guro. It turned out to be an incredibly rare prize that could fetch 100,000 yen at an auction. But since I was a kid who didn't know any better, I gave it to Serika as a present. Serika seemed to really like it, and ever since she'd carry it with her. Which, well, that was fine, but it was old and faded, and when you pressed its belly, air leaked out of its side and made a weird noise. It used to go Gororo, I think. But now it just makes a strange whooshing sound. Ever since she was a kid, she'd have a habit of fiddling with it, especially when she was nervous or focused on something. In other words, she was focused on the computer. That was my chance to hide it. I jammed the magazine onto the shelf and moved some things so she couldn't see it. Want a mountain view? Nah, don't waste it. I'm leaving in a second anyway. Okay, all done. There were quite a few files on the screen. You took a lot of pictures. Any luck? I didn't see anything new. What about you, Taku? Find anything new that connects the two cases? No. I shook my head, frustrated. Aw, I see. Well, let's not get frustrated yet. I'll see you in the clubroom tomorrow. Just as she was about to leave, I got an idea. Oh, Onoi! I needed to double-check my information. She was, in theory, a girl. I was just asking, but... Huh? Well, let's say somebody asked you out. Huh? Just hypothetically, okay? What would you think if they said, I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? Is that what you were just saying? Never mind that. What do you think? Circle thought for a second. Is this person younger than me? What the fuck? Huh? Since they're being so polite. That's true, come to think of it. Why is it so polite anyway? Maybe they are... I mean, never mind that. What do you think? Well, I think it's really polite, but... Nobody's ever asked me out, so I don't know. Anything else? Like, oh, how romantic? Not really. That would depend on the person, right? Grr. What's going on here, cool cat? It would depend on the person asking the question. Of course it would. Oh, right! I forgot! Serika stretched out her hand. Give me 500 yen! Huh? Here, I forgot! She showed me the paper bag she was holding. I just ran into Jen. He gave me this, said it was your usual. I paid him 500 yen for it. My usual? Confused, I took the bag from her. Jen's usual changed every time I talked to him, so I couldn't count on it. What was it today? Oh. That drunk old bastard! What's your usual? Nothing. Here's 500 yen. I forced 500 yen into her hands. Ignoring her persistent questions, I led her to the door. I'll see you at school tomorrow. Huh? Thanks for the pictures. They're a big help. Fine. Reluctantly, she left my room. Whew. Damn it. Sure, this was what I always bought from Jen. But the information in the last one was no good. What the heck was a cool cat anyway? A cold cat? Is it cold because it's dead? 100 ways to secretly show your sexy side. No. I needed to hide this too. I had so many of them now, I was running out of room on the top shelf. Ugh! When I tried to force it in, a mountain of old papers came falling out. Damn it, no room, huh? What's this? It was an old scrapbook about the murders that had occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. I bought it from Gen-Dro, come to think about it. I'd already scanned it, but I'd forgotten to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I'd just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. Oh? My eyes lingered for a second on the page. Come to think of it. I quickly ran over to my PC. I opened the files on the case that I'd been looking for. Seriously? My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared it to the data on the PC. Oh, there was no doubt. I kept looking at it, and it kept saying the same thing. But this, if my hypothesis was right, I'm sure even the police haven't noticed. Oh, wow. It's like watching a webpage. Alright, so I'm gonna read this shit for a second, and it's gonna take a minute because there's a lot to fucking read, so I hope that you guys can keep up. Lately, stickers with the face of the sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya. Lately, stickers with the face of sumo wrestlers on them have been appearing around Shibuya. You start seeing them on signs and guardrails all over Shibuya 5 or 6 years ago. There are a lot of other stickers put up by graffiti artists, but Shibuya in particular has a huge number of these sumo stickers. Some speculated they're a message from a terrorist group, or perhaps a cult. But as of right now, there's nothing more than a hypothesis. When I asked the stickers, a 41-year-old man who worked at Jinan Shibuya Hail Salon said, they're creepy. I wish whoever it was would stop destroying the Shibuya landscape. Sometimes residents will take them down only to see them reappear later. Shibuya City Hall said, quote, we are continuing our community outreach efforts to stop these stickers from being put up. But also, there are no plans to use city funds to remove the stickers. Police have said that placing these stickers on public property is a misdemeanor, but it's extremely difficult to prosecute without catching someone in the act of doing so. They have no current plans of dealing with the stickers either. The citizens of Shibuya are going to be stuck with these stickers for a while, it seems. Woo! What kind of fucked up thing is that? Now, as for perhaps blah, blah, after I first saw one 2 years ago, I've been seeing them everywhere. It feels like there are even more lately. Saw another one today. These two. So it's the stickers. What the fuck? Laugh out loud. There was another one in the escalator at the Hikari Riro. Oh, there was a Hikari Riro? How the hell did they get one down there? Took this a few years back. I wonder if it's still there. 178. I saw that one too. Laugh out loud. That's crazy. Gotsuandusu! I always feel sick when I see that face. I once threw up when I saw one of those stickers. Shit sucks. Whoever puts them up needs to be... I have no idea what that means. Needs to FOAD? Something and die, I guess? Oh, fuck off and die. Ha! Okay. Food! I haven't seen anything like that before. I heard if you scribble on top of one of the super wrestlers curses you. Anyone else notice that it's almost impossible to get the damn things off? Saw my first one today. Stop upping these things, Anonymous. There's a shit ton of them if you image search. I actually saw one of those stickers talking once. It was yelling, Dasuku! 187. Time for your meds, Grandpa. Somebody make a delude map that lists all their locations. You'll be at it for years. So if you go to Shibuya, you get a stare rape by sumo wrestlers, right? I don't understand the sluts that go to Shibuya to enjoy that. They should just put up a bunch of cute anime girl stickers instead, like Kanona or Seiratan. Then all the otaku darks will move from Akihabara to Shibuya. I vote for Hengetsu Kamiyama. I feel pressure coming from Yoguku. This is my prophecy unto you. Someday we'll see a sumo judge sticker. At 192. True that. Okay, so I'm done. At this point, only a few people were talking about the sumo wrestler stickers. Who could have known that these eerie stickers would mark the beginning of a world-changing event? And so, this is a magazine article about the incident that occurred on the 7th. The 7th, the suicide that took place during a Nikonia stream, right? I read that article. We don't know that for sure that it was a suicide, though. People on the net are calling it the "Don't Look at Me" case. And here's the video of the broadcast. I saw that too. Wait, we saw it together. And here's the building it took place in. Onoe took some more photos for me yesterday. I know that too. And this is inside of his room. Huh? No, wait, you took this? When? Wait, how? Until then, Ito had been disinterestingly pointing his camera at the colorful decorations in the hallway, but this got his attention. Of course it did. No one else had seen these pictures yet. Last weekend, you can see the room from the 5th floor of the karaoke place on the other side of the street. Seriously? Here. This is the 5th floor. You could always count on him to be interested when it came to new information. So what? You went in there by yourself? Huh? I mean, you went to the karaoke place by yourself for karaoke alone. I didn't have a choice, did I? And it's not embarrassing. I didn't sing, and so it wasn't really karaoke. To be honest, I was a little embarrassed. The guy at the counter, who was probably just a part-timer, had stared at me suspiciously. No, I dropped my controller. How could I? You sons of bitches. Oh. Hoppa! And since I'd never been there before, he made me fill out a membership paperwork. I didn't know how to do it, so it took a long time. And actually, I'd actually never been to a karaoke place before in my life. That's a lot of actuallys in one sentence. Alright, I got these. Let's go to the next one. This is such a pain. Went over to the gym from the 2nd floor hallway. It was filled with students laughing over who knows what. The whole school was getting ready for the Culture Festival next week. This year's festival was supposed to be the big one. Hekiho Academy was the first private school built as a part of restoration efforts, and so it was attracting a lot of attentions. One reason why everyone was so excited for the school fair was the school's lax rules, with lots of clubs and activities. But the biggest reason was the Shibuya Peace and Restoration Festival 2 months from now. Two months from now, on November 9th, would mark 6 years since the Shibuya earthquake. The 5-year anniversary fair last year had affected the whole town. And since the school was in Shibuya too, it would include us. We were just a simple high school, but now our culture festival was being treated as a prelude to the big one, and supposedly there would be TV cameras filming the day of the event. Wow! Aren't these costumes copyrighted? Can't they get away with that? And wait, why are they wearing them now? Why are you talking like that, sir? Ito turned his camera towards a group of people pretending to be pro wrestlers. Ito and I were in the newspaper club, and it was our job to record the festivities. The principal had ordered all the clubs were to participate in the cultural festival, and recording the festivities was our way of getting by without having to do much work. Recording video and taking photos was my hobby, and more than anything, it seemed like the way that would demand I burn the fewest calories. I couldn't see myself participating in any of the usual festival nonsense, like the baseball team's fried baseball ice cream stand, which was probably just regular fried ice cream in a ball, or the Pro Wrestler Research Club's mascot pro wrestling, or even the seance that the Mystery Club and the Fortune Telling Club were putting on together. They probably don't have anything better to do. Hey, don't pull my whiskers. You're gonna rip them off. Aren't these a Tana? What do you think? If they were a Tana, wouldn't they look cuter if you ripped them off? Huh? What? Do I have to answer such a stupid question? Goddamn normies. Go die in a fire. Hey, don't make fun of normals. I'm a normal. Huh? Hey, you idiot! The camera! He dropped it. Thing's expensive. Hey, what do you mean? You're hurting me. Wait, the camera. Did you betray me? Did you lose a level? When did you get a girlfriend? Huh? I don't have a girlfriend, but forget that. Pick up the camera. What? I slipped out of Itsu's grasp and picked up the camera. Looks like it's safe. Good. I relaxed and handed the camera back to Ito. Jeez, get a hold of yourself. We're not like them. We're right-siders, alright? Want me to give you a lecture about it? Listen, the term normal first came into use on the Japanese internet around 2005. It referred to someone whose daily life was fulfilling and satisfying. Originally, the term netizen existed as an anonym, but the distinction barely exists anymore. That's because the net is now an integral part of everyday life. When it first came into use, simply having friends was enough to qualify one as normal. But gradually, this requirement shifted to having a lover. But this too is changing. The modern definition of normal is now someone whose life is truly satisfying. That is, someone who's doing what they really want to do. In that sense, I am normal. Therefore, the people over there who are screwing around and wasting time aren't normals at all. You need to use words correctly. Seriously, he needs to be careful. Just being a wrong-sider by itself is a sin these days. After I finished my lecture, I saw that Ito was staring at me wordlessly. What did he not understand? What, did he not understand it? I walked him through the entire etymology. Miyashiro! What? You're not normal. Let's use words correctly, okay? Huh? Why? Normals don't talk like that. Wait, why? And you know, I got acquaintances who are women. Of course, men, too. I just told you, normals don't talk like that. But what's the reason? And may I also add... I quickly swallowed my words. I'm studying fashion, too. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I read that new issue of Cool Cat before. I put it away. There was an article in it called Utsuno Yumiya's Fashion Leader. I thought it looked pretty good. If I could wear that stuff, I'm sure. Huh? What? No, nothing. I'm telling you, I'm... Sure, whatever, man. Let's go. As he walked away, I turned my eyes towards a group of mascot pro wrestlers. Alright then, we'll all wear the same outfit. Ooh, like Sentai Rangers, we could split the colors of... I'll be yellow! The audience would love it, but do we have the budget? We've got you covered! We got your allowance, right? Shove it. Oh, we could paint the colors on our bodies. It just has to get last, right? I'm busy. Welcome back, Master Karen. It's not very cute, is it? Can we fix that? Don't say that, it's not cute. And wait, it's not fair that only girls are waitresses. Boys should be waitresses too. Did Gero Froggy really talk like that? Ito just finished recording the going-on-ins in the classroom. It doesn't matter. This was class 3-1. Ito's in my class. Most of the class was busy with Gero Froggy Cafe we were doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Some of the otaku were reading light novels. Did they really think that would, if they left the paper cover from the bookstore on it, we couldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. Most people were happily making Gero Froggy decorations or putting on Gero Froggy costumes and messing around. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, but so did all the classes. No one had told me, but evidently, several months ago, we decided to do a Gero Froggy themed cafe. You dummy! Gero Froggy has a girl's voice. Well, sure, but it's just a culture festival. We're allowed to change it. That's wrong. Huh? Ito tilted his head in confusion and decided to get back on topic. I took out my Pokecom and showed it to Ito. So here's the images from the 19th of this month. Oh, that's that plane girl. Leaky noise, huh? Let me see. I haven't seen this one before. Where'd you get it? It showed up for an instant on the aggregator's wiki. I scraped it before it got deleted. This is the one, the nicer. This one's got a nicer angle, right? Let me up this into Nikonia along with the stuff you took from the karaoke box. I already upped it to the newspaper club's online storage. Make some adjustments so it's easier to see. Then do what you want with it. Views have been kind of bad lately. The last video I upped got tagged with "Cameraman, do your damn job," and this angle sucks. Ito looked really upset. Well, I knew how he felt. The Hekiho Academy Newspaper Club has been the first in the nation to upload a video version of the school paper to Nikonia. Our papers dealt with anything involving Shibuya. We'd done a special on the Shibuya restoration once that a local paper had written about. We won a special prize at a city journalism contest, and the video got over 80,000 views despite being boring as hell. After that, though, I could understand being upset at the fact that the new videos dealing with Gonions in Shibuya weren't breaking 2 digits. Oh, I was the one that put the camera do your damn job tag on. That angle was crap, man. Ta-da! Got it! Ooh, it's an original! I'm so tired. A boyfriend and girlfriend walked in, evidently back from shopping. Their arms were full of Gero Froggy stuffed animals. I told you, that's wrong. Huh? What's wrong? Ito hadn't noticed then. I looked at my classmates who were already beginning to play with their new toys and said, I've told you this before, right? You can tell your average teenager's information level by knowing what sites they go to. This was a personal theory of mine. Smartphones and Pokecoms had been a religion to the modern teenager, and the information they gained from these portable terminals had a huge influence on their lives. Some people only looked at SNSs like Twitter and Rhine and Facebook. Others at Chan and Nigonia. Ooh, heartburn. Delicious. Some looked at all those, as well as the links they found there. And then some looked at all those things as well as their favorite celebrity blogs, the big @Chan aggregators, and then whatever humor site was popular at the moment. All of these people were wrong-siders. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10 wrong-siders were teenagers. This main character is extremely judgmental. Hero Froggy launched 6 years ago with a cell phone strap that had gotten popular for reasons no one ever understood. And then lately, a combination of Garo Froggy memes on Twitter, as well as an amateur anime posted on Nikoniya. If I remember right, it was a talking, dancing frog singing anime themes. I created a fad, though I hated to use the word for something so stupid. It amazed me that people honestly believe that the ribbit sounds made by the female actress in those videos were from the original. Or that the original was a stuffed animal that had come out recently and not the phone strap. My guess was that they only got their information from Twitter. And a man can't be a waitress. He's a waiter. This was one of the reasons why I joined the newspaper club. I don't want to end up like them. Anyway. Miyashiro? A girl, evidently the one in charge of the waitresses, was talking to me. Ugh. Who was she again? Fujita, Fujimoto, I think there was a Fuji. What is it, Tanaka? Tanaka, I was totally wrong. About the videos we're going to be playing in the classroom. What was she talking about? Oh right, they were going to make their own version of Nikoniya videos where they wore costumes and danced. Do you think we could do some close-ups or something instead of just shooting from the same spot the whole time? What? What was she telling me to do? I didn't volunteer to videotape it. You guys forced me. Well, it was better than being told to dance or make props myself. Well. You see... You don't want to fix... You want us to move around. Fix? I don't know what you mean. Well, we can do it. We can do close-ups or whatever. Really? Great. I'll write about how we want you to do it and give you the beforehand shot. Really? Great. I'll write up how we want you to do it and give it to you before the shoot. And then she fled. But that surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I was so nervous I was sweating a little. Ito was looking at me and sighing. What? No way are you a normal man. What? You freak out whenever you're talking to someone new. I can't help it. She came out of nowhere. What's more, I made it a policy to not talk to anyone unless it was necessary. This was the first time in quite a while I'd spoken to any of my classmates but Ito. How'd it go? He was bragging about something, right? Fix or something? What? More technobabble? They'd already start to spread meaningless information. Stop it! Hearing whispers about me in the classroom brought back bad memories, and I was starting to have a hard time breathing. Hey, you okay? I must have looked like I was in pain, because Ito was looking at me with concern on his face. I quickly nodded to show that I was fine. If you want to talk behind someone's back, do it where they can't hear you. And it's not braggy, and it's not technobabble. It doesn't bother me. Fujita is... Who's Fujita? Oh, Tatanaka is just a wrong-sider. That's right. It wasn't worth worrying about. She was just ignorant. Ito looked over at our other classmates who were having fun. Jeez, freaking opportunists. Huh? Opportunists? Uh-oh. What did that mean again? I knew I heard it before. I ran a search on my Pokecom, making sure not to let Ito see. Opportunist. One who takes advantage of any opportunity to achieve an end. That's right! I think that's exactly the right word. They'll take any opportunity to bring you down. You got that right. Ito nodded, annoyed. Good. Looks like he didn't find out. Did the attack at the bottom of the school cash system always have to be give the people above us something to talk about? Hold it. The school caste system wasn't something I cared about, but hey, I'm not an otaku. Not this again. What do you mean again? I just don't like it when people are wrong. Do you want... No, I do not want a lecture. The definition of the word otaku is changing, and the negative connotations it originally have are disappearing, but even now in 2015, it still mostly serves to denote those obsessed with anime, light novels, video games, and idols! I thought I saw a boy reading a light novel turn towards me, but I didn't care. I don't watch stupid anime or read stupid light novels. It's just a waste of time. Weren't you going on about how great some anime was? What was it? Bloodtoon? I said I don't watch anime. That's stupid. It's no different than people who ignore quality movies like The Two Veronicas or It's My Wonderful Life and just watch the same stuff over and over. And say anyone who hasn't seen the show is a casual. I get it. Or people who lie about having read books like The Cities in the Sequence or Winter's Garden and just read light novels all day. The word otaku refers to people like that, who only bother to absorb information about subjects they enjoy. Camera otaku always seemed like a bunch of weirdos to me. As long as they're not bothering anyone, who cares? I'm Johnny Otaku myself. Stop it, please. More than anything, I don't want to be the same as you people. Move it along. Alright. And then the door to the classroom flew open. I want to know what the fuck that is. A female student was looking in. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes and was about to come inside. No, what's up? Oh, Empress, perfect timing. The whole class started to talk to her. Hold on. She was about to say something when her foot caught her on one of the cables running across the room. She suddenly tripped. She almost tripped, but managed to keep her balance. She smiled a bit and took a deep breath. All the students around her, boys and girls alike, began to move. They surrounded her as if they were welcoming a long-lost family member. Hi, who put this cable here? That's dangerous! No, I'm so sorry! Empress, you okay? Yeah, don't worry about me. She answered them with a smile. I felt like our eyes met. I looked away without thinking. Nono Kurusu, the first student council president of Hekiho Academy. Hey, so for our cafe, we got this kitchen, and then the other part, what do you call it? Where's the customers sit? Kurusu smiled a little as she spoke. You mean the hall? Yeah, the hall. That's your wacky just adjust the number of curtains we got into partition the two? Adjust? Did Wakui say he was going to do that, Masuda? Huh? You haven't heard? Nope, which means he definitely didn't do it. Fine, I'll talk to him. You sure? The teachers seem to have their eyes on you, Empress. Actually, they seem scared of you. The student council's president job is to make the teacher's life difficult for the benefit of the students. Don't worry. I use what little pros I've got. And Masuda, stop calling me Empress. Well, thanks, Empress. Now listen, you. Most of the boys in the class called Kurusu Empress as a joke. She's gotten the name after becoming a hero to her fellow students through gallant deeds like putting an end to the principal's endless homeroom speeches. Not to mention bringing more types of bread to the school store. Thanks for the costume, Nono. It was perfect fit. Tanaka, when I wore that, I couldn't get the zipper all the way up. Oh, I should have kept my mouth shut. I can stop you guys from doing any advertising, you know. Sorry, it was a joke. You're just fine. I mean, wait, it probably got stuck on your breast anyway, didn't it? It was a joke. I'm counting on you, okay? Get lots of laughs. I don't care. Okay, so the story started off interesting, but I do not like for banter to get out of hand. I know this is trying to put in a setting and a mood and to introduce characters and their personalities. But you see, I don't care. Like, I'm getting frustrated and bored, and I don't mean to be. I want to be entertained. I really do. But I'm getting bored with the banter. I don't care about the school festivities. What I care about is the plot. So if we could move this along, I would be happy. Rant over. Alright. She sure was popular. She even knew the names of the students in other classes. The top of the school caste system. That was the first phrase that came into mind. And then... Takeru, we need to talk. Can you come with me? Kurusu walked all the way over to me and Ito. Her expression was so kind, it seemed like she had been putting on some kind of act. I could see that all the people who had been surrounding her were staring at me. What does the Empress want with the camera kids? Are they friends? What? You didn't know? No is. Oh, seriously? I feel like an anime trope is going on and it's driving me fucking nuts. Okay. If people are like this, or if kids were actually like this, there's a time and a place to talk shit or talk behind people's back. It's not while they're in the fucking room. Stop it. Stop it. If you people are doing this for real, in real life, please, for the love of God, stop embarrassing yourself. Stop talking about people in front of their faces, behind their back. That's stupid. All right? If you're going to talk shit, either talk to them right in their face, or don't say it right there in the classroom with everybody in the fucking world hearing it. That's the one thing I hate about anime school track. Oh, God. I have so much to rant about. I hate the setting. I really do. I hate this fucking setting so bad. Alright. I ignored my classmates' whisper and focused on Kurusu. Her smile seemed fake, as if been plastered on her face. Whenever she smiled like that, it meant she wasn't in a good mood. Sorry, I can't right now. I just figured out something about the case and I'm putting it together. The student council really busy with the culture festival right now, right? So once it calmed down, Kurusu, her cheeks twitched a little. Crap. Kurusu didn't like it when I called her by her last name. Can you come with me to the club room really quick? Ugh. I could sense a dark aura forming around her, hardly befitting a so-called empress. Can you? She was so close to me. Let's go to the club room. That's cool with you, Shiro. Ito couldn't handle the terror. It didn't look like I could talk my way out of this one. Seeing no other choice, I nodded and stood up. Kurusu! Kurusu, you got a second? Is this about the portable stalls for all the food stalls in the field? We decided that every stall gets one. Huh? But that's... okay. Sorry, no exceptions. I spoke to the principal, but I couldn't get him to change his mind. If any of the bigger groups are still upset, I'll go talk to them myself. Roger. I mean, wait. Why aren't you where you're supposed to be? Kurusu, I told you that if you're busy, we can do this later. I'm done. Sorry, Kawahara. I'm in a hurry right now. Her tone was gentle, but brooked no argument, as she hurried to the club room. Miyashiro, you again. What did you do this time? Gorohara cut her off. I didn't know his first name. He was in the same class as Ito and I, and he was vice president of the student council. No, you don't need to tell me. You were pretending to be a reporter again, right? Or was it a detective? I knew why he was giving me a hard time. He didn't like the fact that Kurusu was spending time with me. It's not, What? It's not any of your business, I think. It is my business. When you take up Kurusu's time, you cause trouble for me and the rest of the student council. I'm not wasting my time with this. There's no point. I tried to ignore him and just walk on by. So I heard you skipped most of elementary and middle school. Is that true? I could feel my legs tense up. I stopped. My face got hot, and without thinking, I glared accusingly at Kurusu. She quickly shook her head. Kawada, I'm really in a hurry right now. But he kept on staring at me. I felt like he was grinning a little. It pissed me off. But there was nothing I could say. I did the best I could to ignore him and turned away. I ignored what sounded like a little laugh and hurried to the club room. Hey, it wasn't me, okay? The second the three of us were alone in the club, her expression changed. The smile plastered on the student council's president's face disappeared. This is who she really was. What wasn't? What Kawara was saying, I didn't tell him, okay? It didn't bother me. You're lying. Really, it didn't. Everything about me was different than it used to be. So what is it? Did you want to talk about something, Miss Vice President of the newspaper club? Kurusu sighed and changed the subject. Takeru, are you eating right? You look like you've lost weight. Huh? Where was this coming from? It's gonna start getting colder soon, you know. Can you keep warm in the place you're living in? Ugh. Crap, she was in nag mode. And I heard you told the teachers you were going to get a job after graduation. I told you to say you were I told you to say you were going to college. It's not like you aren't smart enough. I know it's going to be hard for you to start now, but I've told you that before. I can help. Did you go asking the teachers? And wait, is that what you wanted to talk about? Well, are you eating right? I'm eating just fine. Everything's fine. Just fine. I waved my hand to bring the conversation to a close. I didn't want this to end the way it used to, with a 6-hour lecture about how every aspect of my life was wrong, followed by a hard labor as my punishment. Kurusu looked like she still had a lot more to say, but a moment later. You skipped school last Friday, didn't you? Huh? Oh, so that's what this all was about. Yeah, I did. Is that a problem? Of course it's a problem. Where were you? You were taking those photos you up to the storage folder, weren't you? Damn it, I figured that would be it. She was right. The pictures I'd taken from the karaoke box were from last Friday, when I skipped school. I started staking out the place early that morning, and waited for the manager of the condo building to open the curtains. It was a lot of work, but I was able to get the photos of the scene that nobody else has, except the police. I've told you before that you need to stop spending all your time on this stuff. Back off, Kurusu. We do what we want. So overbearing. Gosh. What makes you think that you have rights to what I do? Damn. Kurusu was the vice president of the newspaper club and had been opposed to Ito and my journalistic ethos for a long time. We'd spent most of our time investigating crimes in Shibuya, stuff like the attacks on the homeless people that had been flooding the city ever since the earthquake, and urban legends about a company involved in the rebuilding, who would put up tons of security cameras all around the city, and a serial arson case where the culprit had never been caught, and now these strange deaths. For her part, Kurusu said that a student paper shouldn't be investigating crimes. She wrote normal, sincere articles and made normal, sincere videos. The video was about Shibuya's recovery efforts that had won a prize, had been mostly her work. Takeru, you're acting really strange this time. You've never skipped school to do this stuff before, have you? That was true. But the reason why it was obvious, right? I was lucky enough to have this huge mystery right in front of me. This is worth skipping school for. Why? Because it's the first big thing that's happened in Shibuya since we started a newspaper club. This is a huge scoop! Scoop? Hey! That face was bad news. It was scary. Ito was right next to me, so I grabbed him and held him tight. Hey, don't use me as a shield. Wait, am I a shield? And why is your face so scary? A huge scoop? People are dead, and to you it's just a huge scoop? No! I'm sorry! Stay away from me! I really can't handle this! Don't push me! Wait, are you really using me as a shield? Oh crap, oh crap! That face was seriously bad news. The Empress was scary enough that she could send a demon running in terror. I'd never even met a demon either. That's just how scary she was. Care to repeat that? Want to tell me again how all these deaths are just a huge scoop for you? Oh shit. I need to find some way to stop her. And then I felt the wind rush by my ears. Huh? Oh. Penny shot! Not good. At the worst possible time, the wind blew through the room. Oh no! How do I select this out of here? Okay. Let's save. Alright. We've gone through a little bit of the story. I got past the irritating part. I hope that it starts to pick up soon because, seriously, visual novels, man. They gotta be interesting all the way through. Excessive talk from bad characters that don't matter in the story can't be overloaded. And gossip is shitty. Nobody likes a gossiper. Fuck gossipers. They suck. That's a service announcement by, yours truly, Dro. Oh, canceled. What are we doing? Alright. There we go. Let's go ahead and mute that. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. It's been a hell of a blast hanging out with you guys. Don't forget to come and check all my videos out on YouTube. Please subscribe and follow on my Twitch channel. If you would like to see more stuff, just let me know and let me know some games and suggestions down on the comments below on YouTube, or you can come by on my stream and let me know about some games that you think that I should play. But without further ado, I'm out of here. This is Dro and Gen-Dro Studios signing off.